It is now my pleasure to turn the conference over to Mr. Yale Hauptman. Please go ahead, sir.
Thank you, Taylor. Welcome, everybody, to our new luncheon series. Today, I'm going to talk about the new Medicaid changes, which I am sure everybody is probably aware of now. Congress passed some new changes to some substantial changes to the Medicaid laws that are effective as of February 8th, 2006. And this was under the Deficit Reduction Act, DRA 2005, as it's known. And before I get into those changes, let me just run through the old laws, and so that we can then highlight the changes from the old to the new. As I'm sure you all know, Medicaid is a needs-based program, and what one must do to qualify is meet a financial test. We're going to focus on the asset test, and basically what you have to do is to spend down below $2,000. Now, if you are transferring any money, the way the state prevents that from folks from qualifying by giving their money away is to impose a penalty, which is really more accurately a period of ineligibility. And under the old laws, that penalty started when the transfer was made. So if I made a transfer of $100,000, today, under the old laws, I would have been ineligible for benefits for 15 months starting from today's date, or rather starting from July, going forward until September of next year. Additionally, under the old laws, there was a look back. Now, a look back is that period of time, looking back, within which Medicaid was looking for these transfers in order to calculate a penalty. And so under the old laws, transfers to individuals carried a 3-year look back. Transfers to trusts carried a 5-year look back. Let me go now to the changes under the new laws, and they're quite significant. And as social workers, discharge planners, you really need to understand these changes and how they're going to affect your clients and patients going forward. First of all, let me talk a little bit, just briefly, about proof of citizenship, which I think is going to really be a big issue going forward, in that the state is required now to receive proof of citizenship, and it's going to require getting birth certificates, et cetera, which may be difficult for certain folks who might have Alzheimer's, or the family, the kids might not know where this documentation is. And I think we're really going to see that this is going to be a bigger issue. But I'm not going to focus so much on that. But let me get into some of the other changes. One big change is that the look back now is going from 3 years to 5 years for everything. That is, for transfers to individuals and transfers to trusts. So that what is going to happen is financial records are now going to be necessary going back 5 years from the date that an application is filed. Financial records means all records of any accounts that were open at any point in time going back 5 years. Now, that's pretty onerous and pretty bad, but it's really not the worst part of the law. The worst part of the law is the change in the start date of the penalty, so that now when a transfer is made, the penalty does not start at that point in time. It actually starts at a later date, when I've spent down all the rest of my money and I enter a nursing facility and I meet all other qualifications of Medicaid. So let me repeat that. The start date of the penalty is now when I have no more money left and I go into a nursing home and I meet all other eligibility requirements. So in my example, if I had given away $100,000 today, but I'm not yet in a nursing home, and I might have other monies left, the penalty won't start until it could start maybe 3-4 years down the road after I've already paid for nursing home care for a period of time, perhaps. And then when I have no more money left, that's when the penalty starts. And we're going to see how, in a little while, how that's really going to cause problems and really going to wreak havoc with a lot of folks. A couple of other changes that will impact your clients. Number 2 is that the states may not round down fractional periods of ineligibility. And let me explain that. The way the penalty is calculated is we take the amount of the transfer and we divide it by the average cost of nursing home care in the state, which the state sets and updates periodically. Right now that number is $6,525. So if I take, using my example again, $100,000 divided by 6525, I get, I think, 15.7. Under the old laws, the penalty was just 15 months. Under the new laws, they can't round down anymore. It's got to be 15.7. Now, what does this actually mean from a practical standpoint is under the old laws, if I transferred $6,000 in 1 month, 6,000 divided by 6525 is 0.9, which under the old laws didn't cause a penalty. Under the new laws, remember, we can't round down. So that actually causes almost a full 1 month penalty. Now, the next change I'm going to tell you about is that states are permitted to add transfers together. And so if I transfer $6,000 in 1 month, next month I transfer $6,000, and next month I transfer $6,000, the state's going to add all those transfers up, treat them as one, in essence, one transfer, and divide that to get the penalty. So that over a period of time, you can see, over a 5-year period, can add up all these transfers and get a quite significant penalty, which, again, doesn't start running until after my assets have run out and I have no more money. So we're really going to see a lot of problems and a lot of changes here. Let me discuss a few more changes under the new laws. Home equity. Under the old laws, a home was an exempt asset as long as I live in the home or stated an intention to go back to the home. It was not a countable asset. Under the new laws, that has changed so that now only $500,000 of equity is exempt. If my house has more equity than that, I've got to spend down the additional equity above $500,000 before I can qualify for Medicaid. Now, this may not be significant in other states around the country where the average cost of housing is a lot lower, but in the Northeast, in particular New Jersey, this is really going to impact a lot of folks. Now, there is a provision in the law that allows a state to increase that equity exemption up to as much as $750,000. However, I don't think that that's really going to happen, especially as we've seen what happened in Trenton the past week with the state shutdown because of the budget deficit and the dispute over approving a new budget. I can't really see the state raising that exemption when they're faced with such financial crunch as we've seen. So that I don't think any relief is on the way there. Now, let's take a look at how these laws, these new laws, are going to impact folks. So let's say we've got a situation where you've got Mrs. Jones. She has $100,000 to apply towards nursing home care. She spends down that money. And after approximately a year, she runs out of that money, and she's ready to file a Medicaid application.